Hello everybody! This is Ominous for Responsible Gaming. We're doing episode 146 of Ominous Designs tonight. Something happened today that hasn't happened yet. It's a first. I completely forgot that I was streaming tonight. I've been waking up at 6 a.m. for the past couple days and having pretty long days at work, and it just came out of my mind. I was working from home as well, so I was completely thrown off in my week. Either way, I'm here. It's barely later than usual, so we're all good. And I knew that I knew that I was streaming like yesterday, so I know what I'm doing. I actually thought of a mechanic for today. So we're gonna do something that I realized is pretty similar to the mechanic hunt. So what we could do is let's start with a white creature like this, whatever. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get some I think it's, I mean, for now it's gonna be a 2 for 2. I'm gonna get some placeholder art, I guess. There you go, it's an angel. I don't really think it's gonna be an angel in the end, but who knows? No, probably not. And we're going to make a copy of the hunt mechanic over here in our keyword tab, hunt. There you go. This one is going to be called, this one is going to be called hunt 2, and matches hunt 2, and it's going to say when this, oh wow, that's a complicated keyword, isn't it? If is spelled, then spell card, else creature dies, exile it, hunted target creature. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, actually, so well, I'll show you what I wanted to do. When this, it's nice to see that you can do if else's like that. That's pretty cool. When this creature dies, exile it, hunting target creature. Hunt doesn't have a hunt isn't conditional? That's weird. You may exile it, hunting. I'll need to find a better name, but that's good because that way I'll see it. You may exile it, hunting target creature. So I'm gonna leave it like that for now. And no, copy this. And what we're gonna do here is huntu, blah blah blah. And basically the idea will be that this is a 2/2 first strike, maybe, and it says, I need to see the template of hunt actually. So let me create a window. So gatherer hunt. So hunt, so hunt is defined separately, and then it says hunt when whatever hunts. Okay, so that's good for me. So it's gonna be when this creature does first strike and hunted, I guess hunted creature against first strike. So I want basically I want to make something that is extremely similar to a creature that dies into an aura. Okay, so I want to, and it's also very similar to hunt. Like except Hunt didn't really have a static effect. I think that's why it only has a when this creature dies or the creature hunted dies. So yeah, it's different because it's a trigger based mechanic. Mine is when your creature die, if you want, you put it under the creature. What we could do that would be kind of fun. So let me finish. You put it under the creature that it's hunting instead of in the graveyard, exiled under that creature, and it gives it some ability. You could give it a +2, +X maybe, but I don't think I want that. I just want it to pass its ability down to the creature. It kind of was inspired to me by the some sort of mechanic that was called, I think, Ancestry from the group. That I was the Facebook group that I'm part of, and I unfortunately don't fully remember what they did with it, but the idea is still, I think, to pass on some abilities down to the creatures, and I kind of just came up with that thing where your ancestor actually really just kind of like stick with you and gives you an ability, even though it's probably, I don't think I'm on a flavor it Ancestry, even though that's a pretty good name, because you don't just die and become the ancestor of some random creature that's laying there, right? So either way, what I thought could be fun is you do something like this. When oh yeah, well, that's a problem. So, well, I would have done something like that. When hunted creature dies, whoops. Put this. I just wanted to return it to the yard somehow, as if first to not leave a bunch of cards in exile. I think that's kind of messy, and second because is there a because? No, it's just to release kind of the spirit or whatever. I just don't want everything to end up in exile just because they have Untude. I think that's kind of that's not the most elegant. So maybe. So put this card, I don't know, put this card from exile into your graveyard. I don't know. It's might not be the best template. The problem with this is, so we can, you know what? We're gonna alternate a little bit, or are we? Now let's try and we'll see if the ability has the second part that put it in the yard or not later. But we're gonna try and make a creature that does that basically, because it doesn't really matter if the ancestor ends up in your yard or stays in exile. It doesn't really change anything to the design. So how about a 2/2 first striker that lives on to give first strike to another of your creatures? I think it's insane. I think it's extremely good. 2/2 first striker for 2 to begin with would be barely okay at 2 white in uncommon, I think. Probably more than barely okay, but still barely. Now, giving first strike to anybody when your 2/2 dies, I mean, that could be a freaking 4/4. That's pretty nasty. So as a first draft, I would start it at something like that, I think. This reminds me of, well, there's a much better version than this out there that I know is, I believe there's a 2/2 first strike for that cost in Teros that also gives first strike to all your dudes and removes first strike forever as long as this guy is on the battlefield to all your opponents. That's much better than this guy. That being said, inferior is okay. It happens. The other card was nuts. I could see that this is fine. You get your 2/2 first strike that gives first strike to someone else later. I think this is pretty nuts. It has the downside of being feel bad, I guess, if you just have to manage to give your first strike to a XX like a 4/4. which sends me to on a completely different track actually. I think I don't want to bother with the pain of, and I think it's probably a bad idea anyways, like you play this in like white green and then all of a sudden you have your 4/4, your 5/5 first strike. This is extremely painful. So if I don't want to deal with that, and I think it's a bad idea, I can move on to lifelink. That's a much more easy to balance design. I actually think this might still cost 3. A 2/2 lifelinker for 2 that gives lifelink to anything later on is a little too good, isn't it? It would need to be at least white, which again I don't love, but could be a thing. The Eidolon, the lifelink Eidolon was, how was he called? I forgot. The lifelink Eidolon was a 1/1 for 1 and an enchant that gives lifelink for 4. Wait, it wasn't an Eidolon? Huh. I thought he was. Besto, lifelink. Oh, I can't spell Eidolon. What did I spell then? I'm sorry, but... Oh. Did I just miss it? I did spell it right. What? Okay, either I'm going mad or Gatherer is messing up. Eidolon. Wow. Okay, thanks Gatherer. What the hell? Okay, I don't know. Yeah, 1/1 lifelink, and then for 4 it gives lifelink. It's not exactly I mean, it's not a direct comparison, so we can't really draw conclusions from that just straight up. But I mean, I could see this being common potentially if I put it for 3. There is a chance you could be a 2/1 for 2 on uncommon. The thing with a 2/1 for 2 is it's going to die extremely fast, which is harder to make it into a... It's harder to die into a big creature unless you play it off curve. But it's still very doable. Against linked. What? That could be a thing. I think that could be a thing. Balance, again, not my favorite part, not the thing that interests me the most. I'll say what I always say. If I'm wrong, playtest will prove it. Like I'm happy proving myself as a person who knows the exact balance of a card, but the Magic designers themselves have to playtest and change the value of the card. So we can debate if that's too powerful or not. I'm pretty certain it's possible that it's fine. It's also pretty confident there's a fair chance it's not, but yeah. So let's move on to the other one. So the thing that I wanted to do, because I thought about it, if I could, and I do want to try and demonstrate that you can go rare, is I wanted to make a red creature, no idea how much, and my red creature would try and pass on double strike. Actually, I mean, we've seen in the past versions of cards, version of mechanics that have like the lifelink, the flying, etc., have a rare that's double strike. We've seen that several times. I know Delirium has one, and I think did Besto have one? Either way, I think it's pretty frequent that there is a double strike version of a mechanic that's a rare. I guess you could say that Prowess had one, the Dragon Twins. They were Prowess double strikers. Not exactly, yeah, Similar. Yeah, it's pretty similar actually, because prowess was a set mechanic at the time. So you could actually straight up do that. My idea initially was that I would try and make the rare transfer to several creatures, and say something like, when this creature dies or the creature it hunted dies, you can exile your guy under another creature. You know what I mean? So your creature over here, double strike, dies, put it on somebody else. That somebody else's die, you can just go and hunt yet somebody else. I now have decided that I've decided that it's not a complication that's really desirable, especially since double strike is probably not the best to be virtually not removable, right? Like you like if I made that mechanic that transfers all the way, then you could never stop the chain, which is pretty annoying for double strike. As a rare, let's put this guy. As a rare though, you could still have that. There is cards that just somewhat similar, I think, of the enchantment in Eldritch Moon, that's like Blood Mist or something like that, that says every turn you get one of your dudes that's attacking that has double strike. You can't really do anything against that apart from removing the enchantment. So it would actually be pretty similar to that. Now, having a creature that's double strike and then transfer double strike to somebody else, it's already a thing. Now the other problem is this is pretty tame. This is pretty vanilla. Is that a problem? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I was kind of sidetracked, wondering if I probably need to cost 4, because it's virtually a 4/4. It's virtually a 4/4, and then it gives double strike to something else. But as a rare, I don't know. In the new power level, it would still probably be way out there to be a virtual 4/4 for 3. Though, I mean, let's see. Advanced Search, Power 2, double strike. That might be a little broad, but maybe not that much. I'm gonna look at the red ones. You get a 2 double strike for red. You do get a 2/2 double strike that becomes a 3/3 double strike for 3. Wow, forgot about that. I don't remember this being a thing at all. Because this is massive. I mean, this is actually somewhat similar to ours, because for ours is the same as this, except no, actually this is 2 creatures. This is its own 3/3 for the purpose of our design over here. Our design over here needs another 3/3 on the side to do the same thing as this. This just comes back as a 3/3 double strike. We need a 3/3 to give double strike to that creature. So and oh yeah, red 2/2 first strike, potentially double strike. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, then let's just call it a 1 red then. I think we can get away with that. Now, if I'm going down that path, I'm pretty sure people will go, well, this is too boring. And you know what? It kind of is, but let's say that tonight I have, you know what? Let's maybe try and do a next episode on this mechanic because I like it. I do like it. It is not the most imaginative in the sense that it's very, very similar to Bestow. It's similar to Haunt. It's similar to Cypher in a way, potentially. It's similar to a lot of things, but I also do believe this is what Magic the Gathering is made of now that it's 25-year-old or something like that. You would see that sort of mechanic in a set because it's solid. Like it's simple, it makes sense, it's clean. I think all of those things. It is too simple, but you put it in a set with other mechanics that are a little more out there, and you're just good to go. So I like the mechanic, and I think what we could do is make the simple vanilla creatures now, and then make the special ones with like weird triggers or whatever next week. Same as prowess has, flying prowess. I don't know if there's many keywords with prowess. Maybe first strike prowess? Maybe. Vigilance prowess? Maybe. But either way. And then it's got prowess with like a prowess trigger whenever you cast an instant or sorcery. Wait, prowess is non-creature. Whenever you cast non-creature, just untap it, give it protection, etc., etc. So we could do that next week, and I think that's a good idea, which allows me to pad the episode with, guess what? So did I put that uncommon? I kind of want to have common, uncommon, rare now, and I don't really think, so how about the flying one? I don't know that I can make the flying one a common is the thing. So something blue? Yeah, we don't care. I mean, this is placeholder, okay? And that probably, yeah, that could be used for something else. So the flying thing, what could it be for it to be costed efficiently? Well, first, are we trying to downgrade this as a common and making that uncommon? Because if we do, then I think this might almost get there. 2-1 flying, give something flying when it dies. This is pretty potent. I don't know. I'm not sure it's that crazy. It's actually pretty hard to gauge, I feel, because it's a great upside, but like look at how was it called? Gravity Negator, was it? Gravity Negator? Oh man. I wasn't expecting to remember that name when I started trying to summon it from my brain. And then I just did. So a flyer, that's a 2/3 flyer, and then you can pay and give something flying. So you would say give something flying is extremely valuable, and you would be right, but it's still not insane in the sense where this doesn't make any, I mean, it doesn't break the game. It's not something that must cost like $1 million. It costs a colorless mana every time. One thing that I could see is maybe make it cost a lot, so that, I mean, by making it bigger as well. But this is a 2/3 flyer. The thing that could be interesting if you make it, no, I guess it would be a bad tension. If it's hard to kill, then it would be harder to get the upside of the second additional fly ability. but that might not be a great tension to have in a card. What if... I mean, what if we had the same design? Like, what if we started with the same base? You would pay a lot more, you would have more resistance that is not quite needed for a flyer, or is needed less often, even though it makes it a little harder to remove. It's possible that we could that we would need to be only a 2/2 for 4. That starts to arc back to Nimbus Naiad. If you don't remember Nimbus Naiad, here she is. She was lovely. She was quite lovely indeed. She was a 2/2 flyer for 3, but she could also be a +2/+2 flying for 5 that leaves a 2/2 flyer behind when the creature dies. She was nuts. That was an excellent card. Oh my god, good times. I remember the good times of Nimbus Naiad. She would be much better than this, right? Because this can be... But this can start... This can have the two things. She can be an early play 2/2 flyer, and then you get your flyer on your other card. And I think that pays off for not giving the +2/+2 to the other card, which makes me kind of want to go back to the 2/2 for 3, because, like I say, if I compare it to Nimbus Naiad, the Naiad could... I'm getting distracted by my screen over here. Yeah, well, you didn't see that, so that's good. Nimbus Naiad could be a 2/2 flyer for 3, but you had to decide if you wanted that or if you wanted the +2/+2 flying, then your 2/2 flyer. That girl, because she's a girl right now, is a 2/2 flying for 3 that also gives you flying after, except you need the creature at the right moment when that one dies, and you won't get the +2/+2. But you also won't have paid 5. I don't know. Yeah, I guess the comparison wasn't the most apt, because this just has you wait for mana 5 to get the full thing. This just don't care at all. Whichever. Oops. Whichever. Maybe I'll go back to the gravity negator model. Either way, so that could be an uncommon. And was this fine at uncommon? Yeah, sure, probably. Lifelink is kind of annoying anyways. People don't love, bashing on somebody and have somebody just find themselves at 30 again in limited. I think most people get kind of annoyed at that. It kind of prevents the game from finishing in a way. And the Eidolon that was giving lifelink definitely had this sort of problem where you could find yourself against a 7/7 lifelink, and over here you get a 2/1 lifelink early game, and if it dies at the right moment, you could have a 4/4 or 5/5 lifelink afterward, which is also a huge pain to deal with. It could also be something that you top deck when you already have your 6/6 or whatever into play, and all of a sudden you have your 2/1 that's either unblockable and lifelink, or the opponent blocks it and then you get lifelink on your big dude. Beautiful. So it's actually probably a pretty good card. So I think it's worth putting that at uncommon rarity. So there you go. You get your 3 vanilla Hunt 2 that I will find a name for the mechanic, a name for the cards, an illustration and everything, and you will see this tomorrow in the article and on all the outlets as per usual over here on Twitter, YouTube. Twitch is right now, so it doesn't count. Facebook, and on r/custom magic. Do check out this subreddit, it is awesome. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna call it, because I need to finish those cards, and I think it was a pretty straightforward one. I'm looking forward to do more of those. I do think this time I'm gonna go back to the Hunt 2 mechanic next week with more interesting triggers. This has been the introduction to the mechanic, but I had a good time. Yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Follow us, subscribe, come back every time. But either way, I appreciate your time and I hope you enjoyed. So see you next time for episode 146. No, 147. See you next week. Bye bye. Buy responsibly.